Greetings, it's Iain from RTO here. Welcome to another album ranking, and we are continuing with the Alexis Korner story, and we've reached part 5, his solo albums. But before we go and talk about his solo albums, I just want to give an honourable mention to an album that I couldn't find to listen to anywhere on the internet, and it's an album that he did in 1981 with a sort of super group called Rocket 88. Now, Alexis joined a little super group put together by Ian Stewart and had people like Jack Bruce and Charlie Watts in it. I've tried to find the album itself. I've seen pictures of it, but I cannot find it anywhere to give it a listen, which is unfortunate. But I thought I'd mention it because I'm sure it would sound good. Anyway, gone on to his solo career, where he made 9 solo albums, regardless of all the other people he worked with and collaborated on. You know, he made 9 in his career, 9 solo albums. So we'll have a look at those today. So coming in at number 9. It's an album from 1984 and it's called Juvenile Delinquent. So joining Alexis here, who plays the guitars and vocals, bass guitar, Mr. Colin Hodgkinson. Yes, one of the great blues bass players. We'll talk about him a bit more next week because he did some stuff with him, which is fantastic. Slide guitar, Adam Sheaf. Synthesizers, Robin Lumley. Vocals on a couple of tracks, Alan Ross. Drums, Tony Hicks, and backing vocals were done by Doreen Chanter, Irene Chanter, Jackie Graham, Katie Kelson, and Ruby Turner, no less. So the first track on here is called Beirut. What a great bass line from Colin. One of the great blues bass players. Okay, it's got even our Alexis turn to some 80s production. It's not too bad. It's still got that bluesy feel to it, and it's quite a good little track. Then we have Mean Fool, my favourite track here. This is just an acoustic blues song right out of the top drawer from Alexis. I really like that track. Then we have The Sphinx, probably the worst track that Alexis Korner has ever recorded. It's 280s. Yeah, not that brilliant. Then he does a version of the Rolling Stones' Get Off of My Cloud. It's alright. That's all I'll say about that. Then we have King BB. Good track this is. Some great electric blues guitar from Alexis. Very simple, but very good. We got the title track, Juvenile Delinquent. It isn't too bad. It's got a good little groove, but there's too much of that 80s production on it. This is an album, of all the albums I've listened to and got by Alexis Korner, this is probably one of the weakest in the whole bunch. There are a couple of bright moments on it, but I wouldn't say it's one of his best. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 4 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 8, from 1978, an album called Just Easy. Vocals are done by Alexis Korner. Jim Diamond, remember him? Had a hit in the 80s. He does a couple of tracks. Sapporo Korner, which I think is one of his relations. Probably don't know if it's his daughter, or don't know much about it. There's not much written about it. Bass again, Colin Hodgkinson. Drums, Dave Winter. And bass. No, Dave Winter plays bass as well, sorry. Drums, Graham Broad on a couple. Graham Deacon and Henry Spinetti. Guitars are done by Alexis Korner, Danny McIntosh, Peter Ward, Richie Zito. Keyboards, Alexis, Mick Weaver, and tenor saxophone Dick Morrissey, who's played with Alexis on other stuff as well. First track on this one is called Roll Me. I like this. It's really funky. Great musicians all that Alexis used to work with. It's a really good vocal from Alexis as well. If I Never Sing Another Song, another great bass line from Colin. It's a real funky track. Love that track. Lend Me Some Time. It's got a reggae vibe to it. A great bass, reggae bass with a nice rocky guitar and some nice piano on it. Excellent little track. Every Day Since You've Been Gone. Very gentle. Love the piano on this. One of my favourite tracks on the album. Daytime Song, and a good track. Some great saxophone here, played by the one and only Dick Morrissey. Terrific. Good little track. Then we have a great little track called The Gambler. It's one of those storytelling tracks. Alexis has a great voice. Now, I used to listen to Alexis when he was on the radio, and I loved listening to him. He'd got this voice that drew you in, and you had to listen. It's a good little track. Then we have my favourite track on here, and it's one of my favourite tracks of the solo stuff that Alexis did. It's called Angel Band. Some lovely acoustic bluesy, and I think that's why I like it. I love it when he just sits down with a guitar and does simple blues. Then we have The Love You Save, another assorted acoustic blues song. Wonderful. I love these sort of songs. Yeah, some mixed songs on here. A really good little album with a bit of funky stuff on it. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Okay, then coming in number 7. Now this is an album from 1980, and it's just called Me. And basically it's Alexis Korner on a guitar and singing. So the first track is a Rolling Stones track, Honky Tonk Woman, and he does a nice little solo virtuoso version of it. Great little number. Louise, again, this album is just Alexis and his guitar. A lovely little tune, a great vocal. Hammer and Nails is next. Love this track, covered by lots of people, but this is one of them songs just made for a guitar and one singer. Then we have Santa Fe Blues. Love this. I love this style of blues. You know, being a big fan of Robert Johnson, you're always going to love this. Then How Long Blues. Now, on this track, Alexis swaps his guitar for a piano. Now, he was a very good pianist as well. And this is that bluesy piano. What a song. I love that song. Then we have Roberta. Another great track with some nice guitar on it. It's just simple bluesy sound. It's wonderful. Precious Lord, very moody song, but delivered well by Alexis. Honor the Young Man. Again, I love it when you get guitar, and he's using the side of it to make a drum to give it that percussion. Great track. How he does the slapping of the side of the guitar is really good. Again, very short piece of acoustic blues. Then we got East Street Louis Blues, another piano track. I love this track. This is a very simple blues album, and Alexis just using his guitar and piano. I love listening to this. It's very simple, and that's why I probably like it. It's a terrific album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 6.5. Okay then, coming in at number 6 is an album from 1975. And it's called Get Off of My Cloud. On here, Alexis plays guitar, tipple, electric piano, and there's a bit of percussion. Bass guitar on this, there's 3 bass players playing on here. Alan Spencer, the ever dependable Colin Hodgkinson, and Rick Wills. Drums is Terry Standard. Guitars, Keith Richard, Neil Hubbard, Peter Frampton, and Steve Marriott. Not a bad bunch of guitarists on there, is there? Percussion was George Caldwell and Jason Kane and Maurice Pert, another great musician. Piano, the one and only Mr. Nicky Hopkins. Tony O'Malley. We've got whistles, Alexis Korner, Maurice Pert and Steve Marriott. So the first track on this one is called I Got Ya Number. Great little bluesy rock song. Fantastic. Really gets you in the groove. The Wasp, my favourite track on here. It's just got that classic blues thing. It's very Robert Johnson. Very Robert Johnson. And then there is a track called Robert Johnson. A track in one of his heroes. I love this. Then we got Treetop Fever. A funky sound on this one. I love that funky bass. Great little track. You're My Sunshine. Yes, that. You're My Sunshine. Yeah, quite a fun version of that. Strange and Deranged. A really good old song here. Great version of this. Love Alexis' vocals on this. Then we have a bit of rock and roll, a bit of slow down. Very good version of it. Bit funky. What you expect from Alexis Korner. A Song for Jimmy, which is a song about Jimi Hendrix. Nice guitar work. Ain't That Peculiar, another groovy sound. And then another, they do Get Off My Cloud again. But this one's got Keith playing on it. Some great interpretations and some great songs on this. Very enjoyable album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Okay, then coming in at number 5. Now this is an album that came out in 1990 but was recorded in 1977, and it's called The Lost Album. So on here, Alexis plays guitar and vocals. Backing vocals, Jim Diamond. Bass, the one and only Mr. Cliff Williams, yes, of AC/DC fame. Drums, Graham Broad. Guitar, Danny McIntosh. First track on here is called Lend Me Some Time. It's hard to believe, but that bass line is coming from the one and only, the legendary Mr. Cliff Williams. Great bass line. Love that track. Daytime song again, another version of this, but this one has got a great, again, it's that bass line with the drums on this. You know, Cliff Williams is a very underrated bass player. He doesn't just stand at the back of AC/DC and plunk along on the bass. He's got such a good sense of timing. Great track. New Orleans. It's not the Carry US at Bond sort of thing. It's a bluesy more style. Great track though. Best one on the album. Then we have this medley, and it's Hit the Road Jack and Working in a Coal Mine. Not very keen on this one. I don't like his interpretation of Hit the Road Jack. Honour the Young Man. Acoustic. He did do an acoustic version of this, and I prefer the acoustic version. But this is okay. The Road is the Road. Great little track here. Another stonking performance by Alexis Korner. Sweet Sympathy. Good version of this. Great vocal. Then there's another version of The Gambler. There's not much difference. It's a great song. Anyway, To Whom It May Concern. Nice little track here. Some nice playing on this one. A really good album, you know. There's some sort of raw versions of songs on here, and just, you know, one of these albums that I'm glad it came out of the woodwork. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.2. Okay then, coming in at number 4, we have an album from 1974, and it's just called Alexis Korner. Now, there are hundreds of people on here, too many to mention, but people like Peter Thurup's on here, Colin Hodgkinson, Dick Morrison's on the sax. There's just so many people to remember. to name. So the first track on here is called Machine Gun and Julie. I absolutely love this track. It has got some great players on here. Absolutely killer opening track. Bluesy, really groovy. Love that track. Then we have a track called Lies. A bit of a jam session here. I do know this has got Peter Thorup on the guitars. Alexis is playing the piano. It's just a fun track. Then we have Wild Women and Desperate Man. This has got Dick Morris's great sax on it. The great yell. It's about the Yankees and Castro, and it's pretty good. Some nice guitar work on this one. Then we have this little short thing called Geneva. It's just Alexis and his guitar. Fine track. Then we have Hey Good Looking, 12-bar boogie rock. What more can you ask for? Love this track. The Thief comes next. Just sitting down there, guitar, sing. That's all that is. It's a great track. Captain America, one of my favourites on here. The saxophone is terrific. Brilliant. Then we have a track called Casey Jones. Now, this is all about, well, I mean, when I was a kid, there used to be a thing called Casey Jones, who's a railroad engineer. It was a show. I used to watch this, and this is all about Casey Jones, the railroad engineer. Very good. Good Night Irene is the next track. This is a nice track. It's Peter and Alexis playing guitar together. Fine song. Doggone My Good Luck Soul. Another of those acoustic guitars, very Robert Johnson. Great track. And then we get Vicksburg Blues. Good little track. An acoustic track again. Fantastic. A really good album. Some of the tracks on here are brilliant. It's got all styles of blues on here. Absolutely dynamite album to listen to. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.3. Okay, then coming number 3. It's the Party album. Now this was recorded in 1978. It's a double live album, and it was to celebrate Alexis Korner's 50th birthday. So you've got lots of people on here. People like Zoot Mooney's on here. Mel Collins, Dick Hextall Smith, Art Thurman, Dick Morrissey, Sapo Gillett, who was Chris Farlow, John Sermon, Eric Clapton's on here, Colin Hodgson, Paul Jones on harmonica, Neil Ford. So basically it's just old blues songs. Things ain't what they used to be. Duke Ellington, Captain's Tiger, little thing, Skipping, Spoonful from Willie Dixon, a medley that's got Finkel's Cafe, Hoogie, Duke Ellington, Whole Mess of Blues, lining track Robert Johnson, Hey Pretty Mama, High Heel Sneakers, Stormy Monday Blues. This is a great album of people just turning up, playing some great blues, all these friends. What a way to celebrate your 50th birthday. And I'll give this album an RTO ranking of 7.5. Okay, then coming in number 2 from 1971, another album just called Alexis Korner. So joining Alexis on here is Colin Hodgkinson on the bass, Jack Brooks on the drums, guitar Larry Power, and Chris McGregor on the piano. First track on here is called Black Woman, the Wild Ox Moan. Just Alexis singing, no music, no musical instruments. Sounds great. What a great opening track. Then we get Frankie Diamond. Love the drums on here from Jack. Really cool track. Great blues number. Clay House in one of my favourite tracks on here. It's got some great improvised sort of guitar work between Alexis and Larry. Excellent track. Then we got the Stomp Blues, another acoustic track done absolutely brilliantly by Alexis. You can make it. I like you want it to be. You can make it like you want it to be. Sorry, what a mouthful that was. One of my favourite tracks again. Got some spoken word. The piano from Chris McGregor. Very good. Gold. Another great track. Great guitar work and that distinctive vocal from Alexis Korner. Saturday Sun. My favourite track on here is a nice bluesy guitar. Nice piano. Great bass line from Colin. Really strong track. I don't know. More. It's just great playing on here. Am I My Brother's Keeper? Very funny track. Lyrically, very simple blues. Nice drum beat. Stop Playing Games. Very nice bluesy guitar on here. Great vocal from Alexis. And the last track on this one, That's All. Nice acoustic blues here again. I do like this. Once again, we get a great selection of blues tracks. Love playing this album. Play it quite a lot, and I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. Okay, my number one, and it's one that he did in the 60s. It's just a great blues album, one of my favourite blues albums. It's from 1967 and it's called I Wonder Who. Now on here we have got on the bass Danny Thompson, drums Terry Cox, and Alexis does the guitars. So it's just a three-man blues band, bass, drums and guitar. So the first track on here is called Watermelon Man. What a great drum line here from Terry Cox. Great bass line. What a great track to open an album with. Streamline Train comes next. I love this. It's got that. The rhythm is just like a train motion. Absolutely great. I love it when these three guys play so well together. I love this. It looks like they're having a good time. Then we have a track called Rock Me. This is a very slow bluesy track. The Terry Cox drum on here really makes it. It feels like he's playing in the lounge, and playing slower blues on the drums is quite a feat because you have to keep that rhythm. Absolutely stunning piece of drum work there. Come Back, great little blues track here. Again, the bass line really is good from Danny Thompson. And then we have a track called Going Down Slow. Probably the best bass line on this from Danny. Love listening to this. Everyone else sort of hooks onto Danny's bass line. Then my favourite track on here is just called Blues. Fretless bass for a start, which sounds great. Great vocal, and you just chill to this. Absolutely killer track. River's Invitation. Very shuffle blues this is. It's got that shuffle. The drumming from Terry's got that shuffle beat to it. Fantastic track. Then we got the title track, I Wonder Who. Now this is one of these slow, jazzy sounding songs, with a great bassy, jazzy sound. Vocal from Alexis is brilliant. Then we get a track called Chicken Shack Back Home. Like this again. Three-piece blues bands always sound good. Terrific track. County Jail Blues. The drumming from Terry is brilliant. It's just a very simple drum beat, but to keep that simple drum beat going is a feat in itself. Roland Pete, jazz, fusion blues here. Absolutely terrific drumming. This is the other side of Terry, the real keeping this going. It's great solo on the guitars. Great. Betty and Dupree, another jam. This is just a jam. I don't know if it's made up on the spot. It just brilliant. He's got this talking blues voice, that gravelly voice. Sounds terrific. CC Rider, Terry's drumming is very funky on this. Like the bass, it's got that jazzy feel to it. Absolutely great track. This is my favourite album because I do love three-piece blues bands. You've got two great musicians, Danny Thompson and Terry Cox. Some of the great 60s blues players in the country at the time. I just put this on. It's no fancy production, plug in and go blues. You can't go far wrong with it. So there is so much passion on this for blues. I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.5. So there we go, some more great blues from the wonderful Alexis Korner. Next week is the last part, and it's a very short one, but it's 2 live albums that he did with Colin Hodgkinson, and they are superb. It's just them two, and we'll talk about why they are great albums next week. Okay, that's all for this one. Hope if you've never heard much of Alexis Korner's stuff, I hope this has given you a little bit more insight. I'll be back later with a retro ranking, and this is a sort of special one this week because here in the UK it is what we call Children in Need week. It's a charity that was set up many years ago by Mr. Terry Wogan, a legend, and they just raise money for children's charities. And on Friday they have the big show and all that sort of thing. But one of the upsides of it, or the downsides of it, is they release a record in support. So I thought I'd find 10 good ones. I couldn't find them, so we got 5 bad ones and 5 good ones. So that's coming up soon. So join me for that. Bye for now.